we won 2 Emmys. And
Three.
after 3,
So including the movie.
We won 3 Emmys.
correcting me. Stop yelling at me.
Yeah, really.
So
Don't
three
shortchange
Emmys.
us.
Whatever. Emmy. Okay. So Peter Marietta is asked not to come back for the 4th season.
Mm-hmm.
And they come to you guys. And you guys become the head of the
showrunners.
show.
Right.
What was that like? How did that feel? Because that was a tricky situation.
hard.
Right?
It was hard.
It was very hard because at the end of the 3rd season, I mean, we're moving along pretty well. We love what we're all doing, and we got we're a moving train. And Peter has been fighting the battles all along. It was a war. It was like even when you just mentioned, we're a family show, but they and you know who I mean. They were not always comfortable with that. I mean, that was something that Peter had fought for multiple times.
Well, they were super formulaic, and so they got nervous when you departed from that formula.
They were not comfortable with that.
Yeah.
They never thought the show was funny enough. They were literally count jokes on a page.
And you did the episode about zingers. That was from Adam.
Zinger.
More zingers.
Yeah. So Peter fought it for 3 seasons, and they just had enough, and they were insisting on getting the show that they wanted, even if it was going to be the 4th season, And so, Peter was the heart and soul of the show, and so, they let him go at the end of the 3rd season, and they come to us. But we already, there's events that happened before that, but eventually they come to us and say, "We'd like you to take over the show. We'd like you to do the 4th season." And we're like, well, you know what? Can we reconsider? Can we still talk about Peter? Peter said, no, that's not going to happen. Yeah. And they essentially said to us, if you don't want to do it, it's fine. We'll bring some other executive producers in.
Yeah.
So then that for
Which
me
we had
was
experienced that with the movie, and it was Peter and I talked about that how it just wasn't our show. Because our show is so specific of the tone of the writers and our cast and crew. We so honed in and dialed into that bringing in other people, it's just not ours.
Right.
It's not our tone. It's not it became hollow.
And that's the last thing I wanted. I said, look, we're all going through enough pain with losing Peter, and if we're going to do the 4th season as a wounded bird trying to land at its destination, which is now what we got, it was certainly not going to be from somebody we don't know.
Yeah.
It was certainly not going to be from somebody from the outside.
You were between a rock and a hard place.
It was an impossible situation.
Yeah. And I knew, and accepting it, we knew they were going to insist on their changes because Peter had fought the war, and lost. But now we had the battle.
Yes, and it was a war, and we won. You know what I mean? Because we had a great show.
We did. We had a great show,
and it was hard because when I directed Nickelodeon shows, they were like, that's a great script, let's move this along a little bit and punch that up and do that. Well, with Disney, it was like, great job. Okay, page 1. The notes were 3 hours.
Well, and also too, it was, and we've talked about this before too, about how the first 3 seasons, we fought the big production for production's sake. Yeah. And I feel like the 4th season, Disney got to have their way of everything was a versus, everything was a big 2-parter, everything was some this big production value.
At that point they see everything as what's the big poster look like?
Yeah.
What's the big poster? What's the merchandising? What's all of that? And also,
and that's what they're so good at. But when the show is about heart and family,
but we done 3 seasons that were not that.
Yeah.
That were not that. But even left alone in the life of any, and we've been very lucky to have written a number of shows that went a good long distance.
Yeah.
When you hit that near 100 episode mark, things do start changing creatively.
Yeah.
Because things have evolved, you're going to start wrapping things up. Mm-hmm. Add to that, Disney was also dangling spin-off. Guardian Angels, they were dangling.
Yeah. When we've talked about that too, about how they started pitching other shows.
They were doing it
other
for
people.
us. So that's why we had that long arc in there with the Guardian Angels, because that was an effort to, okay, let's explore this, because they're telling us this.
Yeah.
Maybe there's another life.
Their next show.
Right. And they also brought Bella Thorne on and spin her, not spun her off,
we got China McClain.
China who went on the airplane.
Yes.
We had a lot of wait a minute, why are we servicing the guest stars?
I know.
What
It's
happened?
frustrating.
You know what I
China
mean?
McClain was big, was
Bella,
on their
who-
radar.
I would love Bella to be on the podcast.
That'd be an
yeah.
interesting episode.
But this has happened. She's 12 or whatever, you know, and I'm whatever I am, a experienced actor. And we're doing a scene, and she's like, "Yeah, I wouldn't do it like that, David." And I was like, "What do you mean? How are you 12 telling me what to do?" It was so funny.
I think at one point she even yelled "cut."
Really?
Yeah. She was off there going, at the actor's studio.
She was an experienced old lady at 12, which I relate to.
Hey, thank you so much for watching this clip of Wizards of Waverly Pod. And for the full episode, go to the Wizards Pod YouTube channel. The link is in the description.
And for exclusive weekly bonus content, join our Patreon now. There's a link in the description for that too. Thanks for watching.
Bye now.